too long. We are the children of Israel. We are Bani Israel.
That's right.
We are the biblical Israelites.
Well, so we can come out of this captivity and start worshipping God as we're intended to. You're right, brother. You believe in the Bible? You believe in God? God? You believe in God? Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Where are you from? Yeah. From where? Tanzania? East Africa. Okay. Now, I don't know if you know, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the Bible? Or you believe in the Bible? Did you grow up Christian? So how did you come to... Oh, you're a Muslim? Oh, so you believe in the Bible through Islam, yeah, because you believe in the prophets. Now, I don't know if you're aware, if you read the Quran, in the Quran, it talks about people called Bani Israel. Bani Israel just means sons of Israel. And they are the descendants of Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. All of these people come down to the 12 tribes of Israel. And the 12 tribes of Israel were special to Allah. And it's written in this Quran that we were chosen of Allah. And because we didn't keep what God, the Creator Allah, said, we were scattered to the four corners of the globe through loads of slaveries, captivities. So there's several of us in Africa, loads of us in Africa, millions of us in Africa. So you heard of Igbo tribe, Nigeria, probably know some, yeah. Yoruba, yeah. Ashanti. All of these people and tribes in Africa are known to come from the East. Their ancestry, their oral traditions and everything come from the East. They know their history. Because what happened is, when we got scattered, and if you look on this tribe, you'll see all the places we were scattered to, the Lemba tribe, and we were taken throughout Africa. So even though you were raised or you come into Islam, there's a possibility, we don't know where your ancestry goes back to, that you could be a child of Israel. It could be. But the point is, the reason that we're waking our people up is because we're in the end times now. You can see what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, can't you? And the world war brewing. You can see how they treat our people left, right and centre. Wherever we are, we're at the bottom of society. We're the first fired, the last hired. When people see you and your hair type or your skin colour, they treat you different. They claim they won't, but they do. Our people are called what's called red line. So when you go to buy properties, you're kept out of certain areas because they don't want our kind of people living in those areas. And all of this prophecy written in what we read the Torah and read the Torah. So I understand what's written in the Quran, and I've read parts and surahs from the Quran, but I do go by Torah because this came before. They'll call it the Arabs will call it the Injil. But our job, if you believe in one creator, if you believe in one God, is to do what the one God says. And the one God says that we must fear him and keep his commandments. Fear him. That's the problem with this world. Because the reason people think they can do what they want and everything's a laugh and a joke and a kiki is because they're not scared of God. Because they're not scared of God. Because they think that they can do whatever they want and they will never be punished for it. They'll never be punished for it. So we're out here to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Like I said, I don't know your ancestry. But if you study and you check it out, there's a possibility. But what we need to do is come back to keeping these law statutes. I don't think it's weird that the world's going down in like a descent. You know? Yeah.
Yes.
What? Yeah. No, I know they say the same, but that's my point. Because even Muslims understand. They say that they serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You say Ibrahim, you say Yaakov, you say Yitzhak, or all the different names they have for the prophets. But you need to understand that even though they've got similar stories, the Bible came first. Even in the surah, there's a surah that says, if you, as a prophet or as a Muslim, yeah, it says if you are confused, or if you ever get confused about your faith, go to the people that had the book before you. And who had the book before? Islam. Long before Islam existed. Bani Israel. Because it was given first to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's where you'll get the information if you ever are confused. But we need to come back to doing it because, like I said, they're doing all sorts of wickedness on the world now. They've created fake blood. You know, the bees are almost extinct. And rather than helping the bees to procreate and get more bees, they've created metal bees or drone bees to do the job of bees. They've created fake blood. So you know, like, you have a blood transfusion, you have a blood type. You have O negative and all the different types of blood types. And rather than give people the blood type they need, they've created a blood type that supposedly anyone can have, a fake blood. Yeah, a universal blood type. Because they think they're God. All these surgeries that they've come up with, all these, a lot of the fruit, you see is GMO. They're not natural. They've spliced them and created them to make them smaller, to make them more pleasant to the eye. And all of this is happening, and you think the Creator's happy with it. Just because He's not punishing us yet, don't mean He's not going to punish us. Did you get that to your church? On your phone? Where it says because judgment's not executed swiftly. Yeah. But we didn't get to read it, so let's read it. Because, like I said, when we're up here, we don't like to speak our own words. We like to go from what's written in Scripture. Because that way, we're not just speaking from a man's perspective, we're going by what's written. Say again. Well, 2 Sundays out of the month, so we'll be a couple of weeks now, we'll be back. Yeah. But if you ever want to come on this Sunday, like I said, we're not against these, we all are melanated people. We'll be yeah, it's good.
But like a lot of our people, right, when they came down, because we mixed in with like the other nations that were in Africa, when we went down, we were called, like, because we spoke like with Bantu speaking people. When we went down, that's what they called us, right? So when you hear about Bantu speaking people, a lot of them are Israelites. So when they went down, right, they went, you didn't just go to one place. Some of us went to West Africa, some of us went in East Africa, and some of us went down south. So there are a lot of Bantu speaking people that were in Tanzania as well. So there's a lot of Israelites there too. So it's a very likely fact that you are an Israelite, right? Because we're scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, and a lot of us are in Israel, in Africa. There's a lot of us in Africa.
You want to break that out there before you get that?
Yeah, do you want me to read how we got to Africa? Mm-hmm. So this is how we got to Africa, right?
So he's going to read it in an actual.
So this is a scholastic book, right? Yeah. So it's called From Babylon to Timbuktu, right? And it says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
So all those millions of people, millions of Jews fled into Africa. So it's like my accent, we migrated all throughout Africa. So it's possible that you're an Israelite.
There's a lot of Israelites in Tanzania.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. So it's about doing the history and coming back to what Allah or Elohim, he has a name. You gotta understand now. I'll give you what's called etymology or the understanding of word meaning. So you say you're Muslim, yeah? What does the word Muslim mean? No, what does the literal word Muslim? It's an Arabic word. Islam's an Arabic word. Muslim's an Arabic word. Quran is an Arabic word. And they all have meanings. So the term Muslim, it doesn't mean that you follow Islam or the religion Islam.
That word preceded Islam?
Yeah, the word Muslim came before Islam existed. The word Muslim or Muslim, as if you say it correctly, means that you submit to one God. So Moses, they'll say he's Muslim. Abraham, Muslim. They will say they're Muslim because they believed in one God. We have one God, one Allah, Yahweh. That's what his name is. And then the word Quran. Do you know what the word Quran means? So the Arabic word Quran means to recite. What are they reciting? To recite something means that something's there and you read over it, or you practice reading over something. And they are practicing and reading over the things that were written before them from Bani Israel.
A lot of the tenets are getting there.
Yeah, a lot of the tenets in that book are taken from us, from the children of Israel. That's why the women dress modestly, because that's what the Bible teaches. That's why you pray, because we are taught to pray. And a lot of the feasts. But a lot of the stuff as well, they take out, they don't teach. So like, okay, I'll give you a good example. Like in Islam, you're not allowed to eat pork, are you? But then there's Muslims who eat shrimp, lobster and crab. When the Torah teaches you can't eat pork, so we don't eat pork. But it also teaches us that you can't eat any fish. There's only certain fish you can eat. And they have to have fins and scales. Say again, sorry. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, and that's my point. But you can't pick and choose what we keep. And that's why it's important to go back to the root. If you come back to the root and you find out your history, your roots, that you're an Israelite. We're meant to grow our beards. That's in the commandments. We're meant to wear, we're meant to have fringes in the border of our garments. These are all commanded by the creator of the universe, the one creator, Yahweh. And he teaches us how to live amongst one another. So in the Hebrew, say again. Because, and that's what I'm saying, they got a lot of the tenets from here, but it doesn't matter where they got the tenets from. The point is that we have to come back to our actual culture and our nationality. Because if you're an Israelite, you have a job to do. That's the point. If you are an Israelite, you got a position to fill.
And not only that, all the nations are going to come and worship the Creator. All the nations are going to come and serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the children of Israel are going to be the ones that are going to be doing his ministry. So people can hold on to religion. If they want to hold on to a religion, they can continue with the religion. But in the end, when Messiah comes back, there ain't going to be no religion on the earth.
When Isa returns, or who they call Isa, Jesus Christ, when he returns, there'll be no religion. You do know what religion is. Religion's man-made. Religion's not in Torah. Religion's not in the Bible. The word religion is a Latin word. It comes from a Latin word, religare. And the word religion means to bind and hold back. It's there to bind you and hold you back. There's only one job for mankind. One job, and that's the whole duty of man. And your only job is to fear the Most High, fear God, fear the Creator, and keep His commandments. Fear Him and do what He says. And as an Israelite, you've got a job to do. If you're an Israelite, you have a job to do. You have to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Because no one else is going to do it for them. Only we're going to do it. They haven't told us who we are all these centuries. So the point is, if they're not gonna tell you who you are, who else is gonna? So that's the point. So that's why you've got a job and a role to fulfill. So you should do the research, find out if you're an Israelite, and then come back to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Because if you love the planet, if you love everything you see around you, then you'll do what's right. Because love of humankind, love of the planet means that you want it to continue. You want that to flourish. But the problem with a lot of this society, everything they teach is not beneficial to the planet. It doesn't aid the planet. You believe in the Bible, bro? You believe in God? Yeah. Come and speak to us for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, bro. 2 minutes of your time. Nothing's more important than you saw that. We're speaking to our brother here. This brother's from Tanzania, and he was taught and brought up in Islam. Would you say you believe in God? Were you raised Christian? Where are you from?
Islam.
No, not from Tanzania.
Oh, right. No, I'm from London.
You're from London, but yeah,
What's your nationality?
Nigerian. What do you not try it?
From Benin City.
Benin. Okay, so it's a very high chance almost guaranteed that you'd be a child of Israel. Because what happened was, you read the Bible. You said you grew up Christian.
Yeah, my name's in the Bible.
What's your name?
Manasseh.
Manasseh.
Manasseh,
Okay.
yeah.
So, and that's the spirit. The spirit was put on our people. So now, what you need to understand, you've probably seen. You're from London. Yeah. Have you seen the Israelites around? Has anyone ever told you you're Israelite?
No. Do they wear that?
They can wear some big garments or whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's culture. We're going back to our culture. So you see me now, people look at me and they see me in this long garment and go, oh, they must be Muslims. That's the first thing they think. Yeah. And that's what they see and they go, but he's black. He's wearing a Muslim garment. What are they teaching? So it sparks something in their mind because it happens every time, and that's why I wear it sometimes, because I know it's gonna intrigue people. And unless we do these things, people don't know. But you gotta understand, when we were back in Africa, we wore long garments like this. We wore garments like this. When you read the description of who they call Jesus Christ, he had a long garment down to the foot. So it's only in Western society now we're changing up the way we dress. But that's only like I said, you would be a child of Israel, just like this brother most likely is a child of Israel. And you'll notice wherever we're scattered to the four corners of the globe, because we have been scattered through loads of captivity, transatlantic slave trade. In Benin, you have Benin, Togo, you have the slave coast. That's where a lot of Israelites were taken from the west coast of Africa and taken on the transatlantic slave trade and taken all over the world. That's why whenever you see like Negroes all over Europe and America, they all know that they're from Igbo, Yoruba, Lemba, but they don't know the history beyond that. They only know to a certain point. But we just read to our brother, have you got that book still? Oh, From Babylon to Timbuktu. That, it tells you how we got from Africa to all these different countries.
How we got from Israel into
From
Africa.
Israel into Africa first.
So the reason why you wear that big long garment,
Yeah.
so every day Jesus Christ.
It's not specifically to emulate him, but it's because it's our culture. It's because we need to get back to our culture. You gotta remember, we're in the West, so everything we are being taught here wasn't our natural culture. You know, if you go to Africa, West Africa, they've got cultures, so they eat certain foods. They might
This is
eat.
going to sound mad, but if you want to bring back the culture, why wouldn't you now go to a place where the whole culture is being actually in the East?
Yeah, and we travel back.
No, but the culture that's in the Middle East today isn't the pure culture, isn't the pure culture, and the culture that's being practiced in the Africas isn't the pure culture. The pure culture,
Beyond the pure culture.
the pure culture for the Israelites, the pure culture is written in their writings. Their culture is written in their writings. So we don't need to go to another land. We just need to follow the instructions which was given to us. And that's all we have to do. Follow the instructions that was given to our ancestors and do what it says, and we will be keeping our culture, we'll be keeping the customs that were given to us by the Creator.
Because this, you understand, this is a religion. Even though we grew up believing in Christianity, or you might grow up in Islam, this book isn't a religious book. This book is a book written by a people, to a people, for a people. It's a book of culture. It gives you instructions how to live on the planet. It teaches you that if you're an Israelite, you must have fringes in the border of your garment. So like we've got fringes in the border. It teaches we're not meant to eat pork.
But is that not the definition of religion itself?
No, and that's a good question. It's a good question, no, because now you need to understand the etymology. The word etymology just means the history of a word. The word religion comes from a Latin word, religare. The word religion comes from a word that means to bind and hold back. Because that's what religion's created to do, to bind you and hold you back. The Bible wasn't a religious book. It's like I said, it was written by your ancestors to you in this time to know how to serve God. To know how to serve. Remember, God created the planet, so He's gonna know how it best runs. And the reason there's so much mass genocide, there's so much people starving, there's so many extinct animals, the reason they can create so many surgeries, splice genes, and do whatever they want, push pedophilia, push homosexuality, is because they're in control and they don't care about the planet, they don't care what the Creator says. But if we want this world to thrive, if we want to get the best out of it, we have to do what's written in here because it's our job. Don't you find it interesting when you look at? Bear in mind, first and foremost, the Israelites are the chosen of the Most High. What does that mean? That means we are not the same as everyone on the planet. We are meant to be teaching them, so we're above. Now,
Who are
look
the
at
Israelites?
the Israelites.
Yeah,
Who are the Israelites? Okay, that's a good
makes the
question.
president?
What makes a person Israelite? The Israelites a nationality. It's a God-given nationality. You know how we call, if I said to you, well, what colour is someone? A lot of people in this country will go, oh, just black. I'm black. Black is not a place you can fly to. Whereas if you ask a Caucasian person, they'll be like, where you come from? They'll say, I'm from Ireland, I'm from Scotland, I'm from France, I'm from Germany, I'm Irish. But then you ask us and we don't know. A lot of us don't know. Because our history and our nationality has been taken from us. But in the Bible, 18 nationalities.
18 nations.
There were 18 nations. And Israelites were chosen out of all those 18 nations. That means they're greater than. Put it like this, look at all the sports that you see. Who dominates them? Who dominates football?
Depends on which sport you look at. I know the answer that you want.
Go on then. So what?
Cricket.
Basketball? Who dominates?
Black.
Football? Who dominates it?
I don't play football.
But
Golf.
Tiger Woods?
Well,
He dominates?
the
He's the top one.
The top players, not players.
No, but
in
he is
golf.
the top golfer.
The top players in golf. aren't
Google
good.
who the top golfer is. He's
I'm
gonna
not gonna say it. I'm talking about
Let's go
players.
F1.
Players.
F1 racing. Lewis Hamilton. Look, I'm telling you, no matter what we put our hand at, yeah, and the reason we're not in those certain sports is because they're rich sports. Golfing is expensive, and we're not put in the position to be able to play them. If we play them, we'll be the top of them. Boxing, who dominates boxing?
Right now,
It's us. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt. Just look around.
historically, it has been black people.
Yeah, and this is the point. But this is a slight observation. That's not even the serious point. The point is, it's even in the physical things, it's clear to see that there's differences made. There's differences we make. So you can look and see, well, why is that? Why is there a difference between us? Because society is trying to push now that everyone should come together, and it shouldn't matter. Everyone mix. But the reason you got to understand that they want us all to mix is so that the people who did the transatlantic slave trade, the people who did all the wars and the wickedness, they can't trace it back to them. Because now there's no separation, now we're all mixed in. Now they can't be found. It's like me committing a crime and then changing my identity. So they can't find me. Now I'm free. So I've committed a crime and got away with it. And that's what they're trying to do. Because have your ancestors been paid anything for the transatlantic slave trade? And none of ours have. There's been no reparations. They haven't said to us here, here's a chunk of money, go back to where you came from. Because technically we are still in the hands of our enemies. We still have to pay them for everything. We still pay taxes. And up until 2015, the taxes we were paying were getting paid to slave owners and their families. So all these so-called rich people who have inheritance and houses and businesses that will pass down to them, who are able to get high-paid jobs for doing less work than we have to do, they've got that through the free labor of our ancestors.
Right.
Our free labor, and all we get is for them to tell us that we're nothing.
Yeah, forget about it.
Forget about it. As soon as you bring up the transatlantic slave trade, as soon as you bring up what happened to the Israelites, then they go, oh, that was ages ago. You forget about it. But then they want to tell you to remember Holocaust, 9/11. They want to tell you to remember the veterans who died in the World War.
They put you in history class to learn the Battle of Hastings, which happened in 1066. Wasn't that long ago?
That was ages ago, but that's what they're teaching us. They're teaching us.
I have an argument against what you're saying.
Bring it out.
But I also understand. We live in England, right?
Yeah.
That's their history. We obviously have our history, but you can't really.
That's not true. I'm gonna tell you. I'll let you finish.
You can't really dictate what they teach us in English schools when we're living in England.
No, because if you're going to teach history, you've got to teach the whole history, not teach a biased history. And not only just teach a biased history, but teach a history which is lies, which is whitewash. Because we were here first.
Yeah, England was run by black people. You do know that.
And
Scotland,
Europe for 1,000 years.
A lot of the Knights of the Round Table, when you read about a lot of these people in their history, all the images have been whitewashed. But they were Negroes. This is fact. Look up is it the Moors?
Yeah, Moors, yeah.
Look up the Moors. We ruled Europe. They know this. There's history books. You can go to museums. They've got statues and stuff that prove that we were here. We were here first.
And some of the Roman emperors were Negroes. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of? If you haven't heard of Septimius Severus, you never heard of him. He was a Negro. He came to England. He fought a war in Scotland. for Rome, right? You had another Negro, what's his name, who came to overthrow Rome, Hannibal Barca, right? And he came with the elephants, and they say, and even to this day, his war tactics, the military armies of today use his war tactics. So, and those things are not taught.
They won't teach you.
They won't teach you those things. So the problem is, it's not, oh, you can't tell them what to teach you. It's that what they're teaching is lies. It's lies. And the reason why they're teaching you that is so that you have an inferiority complex. You feel that you're inferior to them. That's why they teach it. That's why they took all the dark images and whitewashed them and painted them white. You go into Russia and in Europe, right? And you look at the old paintings, the depictions of the saints. They're all dark. They're Negroes, right? And what happened is they took those paintings in 1400s, when they went 1600s, when they started to come back into power, and painted them white. This is historical fact. It's called the Renaissance.
Whitewashing. Even down to the image of who they call Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Even
It's called iconoclasm. Okay? So it's not about they're teaching you a history and it's just their history. No, they're teaching you a history which is lies. Lies.
Have you ever heard about Christopher Columbus?
Briefly, I don't really know too much.
Well, the story of Christopher Columbus that's taught all around the world, in America, even here, is a lie. Firstly, his name wasn't Christopher Columbus. His name was Cristobal Colon, and they say that he was trying to find India.
Yeah. So a short route to India.
They said he found a shortcut.
He found a shortcut to India.
The reason why they give you the name Christopher Columbus as well, because they say that's a translation of his name. The reason why they give you that name is so that when you type that name in, you get their narrative or what they want, their story they want to tell you. Because if you put in your name, you're going to get the true history, you get the real history.
His real name is
Cristobal Colon.
Yeah, and they say that he found the Americas. That's what they say. But the man's never set foot in the Americas.
He never set foot in there.
He was trying to find them, but he was trying to find Hebrew Israelite. He was trying to find Israelite, but he took a Hebrew interpreter. But he only landed in the Caribbean. And then when he got there, he mass murdered loads of people.
Millions, not loads. Millions.
Millions of people.
Millions. He went through the land, rape, robbing, murdering, and taking people as slaves. He was a genocidal maniac. And then they had the gall to put his name into history and want you to celebrate Columbus Day. They're taking the piss. They're literally taking the piss. And the problem is that Negroes, right? Because they're asleep. They're asleep. And whatever you tell them, and especially when it's coming from another Negro, they can't accept it from another Negro. They can't accept it because that's what's been instilled in us. That's what's been instilled, right? And until the Israelites, who are the Negroes, who are the Hebrews who were taken into slavery, and until they wake up, because they have to wake up spiritually, they have to wake up, and how they wake up is by opening the ancestors' book, reading what is written, right, and getting the understanding. When they start to do that, then they will start to seek truth, and they will start to seek knowledge, because knowledge is power. And when you know knowledge and when you know history, you know, right, your enemy. You know who your enemy is, right? And in this day and age, our captors or our slave masters, his children, are running around and they teaching us, it's okay, we can all mix now, and everybody's equal, but nobody's equal, because the riches that are on the planet, the people who have got the bulk of the wealth, who got it off the backs of our ancestors, they've still got that money. So if we are all equal, why don't they take what they took from us and repay it, right? And then make us all as wealthy as one another. Why don't they do that? Prince Andrew, not Andrew. What's his name? Who went to Jamaica the other day with his wife, the young
William.
William went to Jamaica and said, we're so sorry about slavery. We are so sorry. Now, somebody steals your bag, right? And you got a wallet in there, right? Somebody steals your bag. You got a wallet in there. There's £100 in there, and then you go, "Where's my bag gone?" It's gone. And then little later, the person goes, "Oh, you know, I took your bag. I'm sorry. Here's your bag back." Right? And then you open up your bag, open your wallet, and the £100 not there. So were they really sorry? No, they weren't freaking sorry.
They weren't sorry.
No, they weren't sorry. So Jamaica said that they want to cut ties with England and not have the Queen as their head of state. And which is, they should have done that a long time ago. From when Barbados did it, they should have done it before even Barbados did it, right? But the point is that they want to say sorry, which is, anybody can say sorry. Anybody can say sorry. Sorry is words, but sorry isn't in words. It's measured in action. It's measured in action, what you actually do. A man who goes home and beats his wife up and then says sorry, right? And then the next day he goes home again and beats her again and then says sorry. And then the next day he goes home and beats her again and then says sorry. Is he really sorry? No. He's not sorry. Because he's still doing the same act, and it's the same thing with the Creator. The Creator says to the house of Israel, "These are my laws, my statutes, my commandments. If you keep them, I will make you above all nations. I will make you the teachers and the dominant people on the planet, so you can teach the nations." Israel didn't do that, so we got cursed, right? And we went into slavery. That's why these other nations had power over us. That's the only reason why they had power over us. It's not because they had some sort of great mind and you know, they could think better than anyone else. Because everything that is built in this Western society is coming from the East. Everything, language comes from the East. All language stems from the language called Hebrew. That was an African language, right? Agriculture, that comes from Africa. Okay, comes from the East. Mathematics comes from the East. What's it called? Astronomy. Astrology, astronomy. Right? All those things come from the East. So the whole foundation and paradigm which the Western society is built off a Negro ancestry. But now, because the Most High has taken the power, his power, off the Israelites or off his people, the other nations are given free reign to rule, but it's only for a time, because World War III is coming, right? And according to the scriptures, according to our ancestors' writing, once we go through our punishment and we get to the end of our punishment and we start to return according to what is written, which is what we're doing now, we're returning to the Creator. And once we start to return, then the scripture says that he's going to come and he's going to redeem us from the land of our enemies, right? Deuteronomy chapter 30, right? Because you're an Israelite, and until you wake up and return back to the Creator, right? You will keep, no matter what you do, you're not gonna what you call elevate, not in their society. It's set up against you. Their whole system is set up against you, right?
One more question. You see how you said the Israelites are the superior people.
Yeah.
They're the superior.
Well, the scripture says that we're above all people that are upon the
He'll
face.
put us above all people.
So then you believe the Israelites are superior, pretty much.
Yeah, well, in terms of what? And how to say?
Superior to other people.
Well then, okay, now I'll give you an understanding. If you go into a classroom, if you go into a classroom,
We're not interested in if you got an issue. We're not interested if you got an issue. We're talking to our brother. We're not interested if you got an
if you go
issue.
into a classroom,
That's wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
That's
It's not wrong, because listen, right? We're having a conversation. And what I'm saying is, if you listen to what I'm saying, right? I'm having a conversation. We're having a conversation, right? You ask the question, right? If he wants to have a question to ask, he can ask a question too. But he's saying he's taking an issue, right, with the situation. But we're not having a conversation with him. We're having a conversation with you.
I think it's the way you said it. I think it was wrong. That's
And the problem here is that when our ancestors, right, were told to shut up and to not read and to not write and to do all those things and to work for free, right? They didn't take an issue with it then. There was no issue taken with it then, and our ancestors have not been repaid, or no reparation has been paid to our ancestors. Nothing has been done to correct that wrong, but there's no issue with that. But there's no issue with that, and that's my point. My point is this, right? According to our scriptures and according to our writings, I don't really care about what anybody else thinks or takes an issue with, because I'm dealing with my people and our writings. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It's got to do with us as a people. So when somebody from another nation or another people come in to say they've got an issue with our writings and what's written by our people, I don't give a crap.
So you guys, are you Christians?
No, we're not Christians. We're not Christian. We're Israelites.
Israelites. Okay, whatever.
We're Israelites. You can't. The Bible, the book which is written.
Do you read the Bible?
The Bible is, of course, I read it back to front. I believe every word which is written.
Is it in the Bible that says it says love thy neighbor?
Neighbor. When you read,
no,
but what you got to understand. What you got to understand. When you read the book, right? The book is talking about Israelites. When it says love thy neighbor, it's saying love your fellow Israelite.
Right.
That's what it's saying.
How do you treat non-Israelites?
How do you
Is this the way
treat?
you treat non-Israelites?
No. What you got to understand is that reason why I take offense to somebody. No, hold on. Let me finish. I'm answering it. Reason why I take offense is because I am reading the records of my ancestors to a brother who is not awake yet as regarding his heritage, right? Now, if you say, oh, I don't understand that, I don't get it, then that's fine. I can work with that. But another nation can't come in and say, oh, I take offense. It's got nothing to do with them. It's got nothing to do with them. That's the point. So when he's reading and you say you take offense, yeah, I can deal with that, because guess what? You're trying to get an understanding from your ancestors' writing and what the writing is saying. But another nation can't come in to say they take an offense, because it's got nothing to do with them.
I understand what you're
It's got
saying.
nothing to do with
It's
it.
just the way you approached it.
Yeah, but the way I'm approaching it, and my problem is this, is that when we were going through slavery, nobody had no offense. There was no offense taken. There was no offense. They still haven't made it right, but they can come and we can have a conversation on the street, and they can come in and say that they have a point to make. But the problem is that the only way you can have a point to make is if you and your ancestors and their people right the freaking wrong first. Write it first, and then I'll have time.
How do you guys treat
Other Israelites.
Non-Israelites.
Non-Israelites. Well, as I said, we are dealing with the house of Israel first. Once the house of Israel and those, once the house of Israel is raised from their slumber, right? Because the elect of Israel is going to be woken up. Once they have woken up, right, and we take our place, the place which the Creator says that is set for us in our writings, right? Then the other nations are going to come and serve the Creator.
Still have an answer.
No, what the point is, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Then the other nations are going to come and serve the Creator. When they come and serve the Creator, then the world will know peace. That's how the world will know peace. But the world ain't going to know peace until that time happens. But in the time or in the dispensation that we're in now, the house of Israel is dealing with the house of Israel, right? The scripture says Messiah came for the house of Israel, didn't come for all the nations. The Messiah didn't go around all the other nations saying, come, salvation is for you. Oh, it's for the Romans, it's for the Grecians. He didn't do that. He came among his people, and he came, get me on Matthew 15, get me on Matthew...
Jordan. Mm-hmm. So the question, so you asked the question first, we get back to it, and then I'll read it. So you said superior. Now, if you go into a classroom and you have a teacher and a student, is the teacher superior than the student?
I think so.
They are superior. Because there's hierarchy in everything you see. You don't go to the animal kingdom and go, how come the lion is the king of the jungle, do you?
Yeah.
Why don't you go and do that? Why don't you go and say, nah, that's not fair, don't put the lions over there. Go and put the zebras next to the lions. Go and nah, I don't care, everyone's equal. Go and put the giraffes. Go and put the giraffes next to the lions and see what happens. Because hierarchy needs to be there, order needs to be created. People like that, they don't know order, and it's not the point. You have to understand that a righteous person or a smart person, if something wrong is done, it's important that you are upset about what's done that's wrong. If you see wrong and you're not upset by things that are done wrong, then there's a problem because you are agreeing with it or going along with it. We need to be, because the things that took place haven't been rectified. They haven't been rectified. Now, if he really wanted to have a conversation, he would have waited and then he would have asked this question. But really, he didn't want to. Really, he realized that all it is that now he's found out that the Messiah was coming for the nation of Israel. He don't want a part of it because he did listen at first. Well, you need to understand.
I don't disagree with what
I know.
was saying over there. But it's just the way you put it.
And I know, but that's why I'm trying to get you to understand. You have to understand. We have a reason to be like this. The thing they've done to us, you got to understand. They've done it with no reason. They didn't put us in slavery and give our children to alligators and thinking because we done something to them. We didn't harm them. They done it because one, the Most High put it on them to do it to us, and because of the colour of our skin, they knew who we were. And if you can't, you have to kind of disassociate where we are now, because this society is teaching us, everyone can mix, everyone should mix, blah blah blah, so that they are not accountable for what they've done. But we're meant to be among our own people, because we are not in the same position as them. He might be able to have a conversation, he might want to say something, but he's not coming from the position you are. You don't have the same inheritance he has. His family might be wealthy, and now he's coming down to us to try and have a conversation with us. When he goes back to, he's going to go back to his riches or whatever else.
If we were saying white people were superior, he wouldn't have no problem with it. There wouldn't be no problem with it.
They've been teaching white people are superior.
If the conditions were right for them to have us in slavery again, they would have done it. The only reason they let us go was because it was better for the economy. That's literally written in history. That's the only reason they let us go.
So much so that when they freed slaves, when the slave trade finished and they let go of the slaves, they didn't pay the slaves who have been slaves this whole time. They paid the slave owners for loss of property. And up until 2015,
was paying taxes.
Your taxes were going to the children of slave masters. Up till 2015, you've got to understand that your tax money or your parents' tax money. And this society is still built off that. If you go to America, they've got a constitution that says you're not even a full human being. You're 3/5 human. That's still in their constitution. They haven't taken it out. Only last week have they made lynchings illegal. Lynching, hanging someone from a tree, only this year. And now they've conditioned you in your mind to say, nah, we've got to be nice to everybody. Yeah. We've got to be nice to everybody.
Stockholm syndrome. And when you see when you love your enemy, right? Because the problem is you do not know who your enemy is. Yeah. You think this guy here that was standing there is your friend. He's not your freaking friend. He's not your friend. His ancestors had your ancestors in captivity, and they haven't repaid you. And everything we go through, okay. So when you see us, have our household is broken up. We have single parent moms and stuff like that. When you see us, be aggressive, do the things that we are doing, that's not. It didn't come out of thin air. That was trauma that was put on our ancestors that passed through the genes. They know this for a fact. This is scientific fact, I'm telling you.
Brother, I'm going to get something to eat there, but thank you very much.
Yeah, one second. Let me give you a card. Like, it's important. What you're learning is not something light. You're an Israelite, and even if you don't necessarily hear it from us.
And if you don't want to see them as your enemy, then that's fine. Yeah. But you see, here's the thing: as according to the scripture, anyone who's caught hand in hand with the enemy, the Most High Messiah you're going to die along with your slave master, with your enemy. You're going to die along with them.
Be careful, because what you're saying is important. The Bible tells you to never trust your enemy. never trust your enemy, because what will happen is, like my aunt just saying to you, you're caught along with them. Say you're hanging around someone who deals drugs or is in gang violence. You might not be involved in gang violence, you might just be their friend, and they might be alright as a friend. But you start walking around with them everywhere, and one of their enemies comes to do a drive-by, and you're friends with them, and you're walking with them, what's going to happen? You're going to get in, and you might be nothing to do with it. You might be a grade A student. You might just do music, and both of you do music, but because you put yourself alongside that person, you get caught up in it. The Bible says, separate, come out from among them and be separate. The word holy doesn't mean I'm special, I'm righteous. We're not better than anyone. The point is we are separate and different. We have to be different. And the reason we're different is because we do what God says. And when we come back and start doing what God says, then we can fix ourselves, and then the other nations, we can fix them too. Because they'll come and do what we're teaching them. But you gotta understand, you can't save him unless you saved yourself first. If I'm drowning, can I save anyone who's drowning? When the plane starts crashing, who do they tell you? Do they tell you to put someone else's flotation device on? What do they say? Put yours on, and then after you put yours on, then you can help someone who's struggling. Because you have to save yourself first. You can't be thinking about being Captain Saverhole. You have to think, okay, let me make sure that I'm right first, and I'm doing right, and then I can help. That's the point, because the time's coming, yeah. World War III is on its way. Serious time, bro. It's not like years away, like you've got 20, 30 years. You don't know if World War III kicks off tomorrow. Russia and Ukraine are going at it. Europe and America are talking about going to war, and you're young. We're young. So if they call you to war, what's your decision? Are you going to go fight for them? Are you going to go and fight for England? And
I've had this conversation with Lucy. I've said no.
And that's what I'm saying. If war kicks off and they start and race riots start, you do know that race wars will happen. They've happened in London loads of times.
They say to you, either go to war or we can kill you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, because these
Running away.
yeah, that's it. You have to become a fugitive. But the point is it's serious. So when he comes and tries to import, it's not your. Don't get offended by us saying, well, just wait and don't talk. Because we're having a conversation. That's called order. I don't go, if I see a man and a woman having a conversation on the street or an argument on the street, and they're talking about something, saying, oh, you did this last week, and I walk up in the middle of their argument and go, you're wrong, I don't agree with that. What are they going to say to me? They're going to what are you talking about? You weren't part of this conversation. It's weird. It's weird behavior for him to come and do that. But like I said, it's very, very serious, very serious, and that's why we take it serious. Like, I know it can come across as hard, but it's not the point. Men have conversations. Only weaklings or people who are, don't raise your voice. Why not? The Bible says lift your voice up like a trumpet. This brother's been here the whole time. He ain't taken no offense. Have we said anything offensive? Have we been calling other nations over and going and shouting at them? The reason we're out here isn't that. The reason we're out here is for you, because you don't know you're an Israelite and you don't know the importance of what's written. The religion needs to go. All our people are going to church on a Sunday. Sunday is a made-up day from the Catholics. It's got nothing to do with us. We are taught to keep Sunday worship. We are taught to keep the Sabbath day, which is the Most High Word. That's Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. We are taught we're not meant to be eating pork. Do you eat pork?
Very, very rarely. I cannot avoid it.
Yeah, because that's what they've taught us. They've put that in everything. Any shop you go to now, everything's with bacon, with pork, now with bacon. And you're like, oh, how come everything has to come with bacon now? But the point is, we're not meant to eat bacon. We're meant to have fringes in the borders of our garments. We're meant to grow our beard. So growing your beard, even as little as growing your beard, shows that you're listening to the Most High and saying, you know what, I'm meant to have a beard. Men are meant to have beard. And that's when you start to grow, because what you're doing, you're separating religion from culture. Religion's not to do with the Bible. You need to come back to your culture, because the time's coming when World War III's coming, and if you think that pally-pallying with people who don't really know what you're going through, we know what you go through. I bet you when you go into a shop, do you ever find that security guards are following you around and watching you? Yeah, but he don't go into the shop and he won't get followed around. Have you ever seen
lady on the road
and she's clutching her bag or her belt? You wear a hoodie and all of a sudden it's a dangerous thing, but they wear it fine. We used to have dreadlocks and different hairstyles, cane rolls, and it would be classed as ghetto and dirty and urban. now they're doing it's fashion. And you gotta understand, these things aren't just by chance. These are actually like programmed in them.
They call it unprofessional, but then you got Boris Johnson on the TV. I can't even call me here.
Look, Clark, hey, can't even call me there. Boris Johnson, a big prime minister, like he ain't got money to pay a hairdresser. You need to actually take you like serious. And yeah, don't have to necessarily do it, but go and research the people in Israel. Are you down here for a university?
Yeah.
Coventry.
Yeah.
So you'll be down here for a while. We're going to be down here anyway. Two weeks out of the month, we're going to be down here. But Google the Hebrew Israelites, Google Israelites, and study the history, because we're not Jamaican, we're not Nigerian. We found ourselves in Nigeria. We found ourselves in Jamaica. We find ourselves in Coventry. But you're not Coventry. Yeah, they're just names to us. But our ancestry goes back to Israel, to the Israelites. You would be a son of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You'd be a child of Israel. And the reason it's important, and the reason I'm reiterating it, is because why you knowing you're an Israelite, you have a job to do. Your job, because I know you can articulate yourself well, which is good, and you can speak to people. But the point is, if you know and you come into the knowledge of the truth, how much better would it be to be able to articulate truth? If you could use the skill to then wake up someone else and say, well, someone might listen to you because you say in a certain way and go, oh, you know, you're an Israelite. That's your job. Now you know you're an Israelite, you should go to your other Israelite brethren, family members from Benin, Togo, whether they're Lemba tribe, Yoruba, Igbo, all of these people are Israelites, and they need to know that they're Israelites. So like I said, we're out here 2 weeks out of the month, bro. 2 weeks out of the month.
Last Sunday.
Yeah, we went out here last Sunday, so it'll be a couple of weeks before we're back out here again. But what's your name again? Manasseh. You got Facebook or WhatsApp or anything?
I have WhatsApp.
You got WhatsApp? Can I take your number and then keep in contact? Because then if you do want to like learn anything or whatever, you got to actually like study. And we can give you like videos, like YouTube videos and that to watch. Because I know it's hard. I know it's a lot of information to take in one setting, isn't it? Because it'll go in one ear and then out the other. It'll go in one ear and out the other. But there's loads of Israelites in London, so I'm surprised you ain't come across them. Come across Israelites. You got IUIC, ISUPK, and all that.
Thank you very much.
No. But I promise you, it's not a small thing what you learn today that's very Israelite. It's big. Everything you've learned in religion and the Bible ain't something small. It's all everything that's been prophesied from Babylon, Egypt, Medo, Persia, Rome, Greece. All these things were prophesied and they came to pass. So everything else that's prophesied, including the war, including the other nations being put in servitude, is gonna come to pass. But it's decision. It's like a decision time now. We're in what's called like a decision period. You either choose to stand by the Most High, or who the world calls God, and Messiah, who the world calls Jesus Christ, or you choose the world, because the world can give you like nice cars. The world might give you money. You might be able to buy a Rollie, and you might be able to buy a Range. But then that's it. That's as far as it goes. And then when you die, you can't take it with you. But when you come to the scriptures and you get what you've got today is a gem. What you got today, just knowing that you're an Israelite, that's more precious than anything this world can give you or grant you. Way more precious. So like, definitely get your head in the book. Have you got a Bible in that?
A Bible, yes.
Or you can get the app anyway. But yeah, definitely next time we're around. I'll shout you next time we're around anyway. Nah, we won't be here tomorrow. We'll be here in a couple of weeks on a Sunday. It's Sunday usually we're out here. But I'll send you some videos on that to like give you some understanding. We have to do this. It's our time. We've got loads of Israelites, man. Loads of them. We're waking up. You'll see, we're in America. We're waking up in Brazil. There's Israelites in India. Israelites in China. Israelites in Japan. We're scattered all over the world. But wherever you find us, we're at the bottom of society. We're the first flyers, the last flyers. They still treat us like thugs. You know the word ghetto? You heard the word ghetto, innit? Who does the word ghetto relate to? Black. The word ghetto, if you go into the history of the word, the meaning of the word, it means a place for the Jews.
Yeah, it's a place that Italians put the Jews in.
It's the place where the Italians used to send the Jews to live. So they would all live in those areas. So even the words that you use today go back to us being the Israelites, us being the Jews. So now, so next time someone comes to you, you can say to them, well, because I'm from Nigeria, but I'm doing my history and I'm from Israel, I'm an Israelite. And then you know that all the blessings in the Bible pertain to you. Get me, I'll need you one scripture before you go. Get me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Yeah, Deuteronomy 7, because this is important, man. Very important. I mean, just think about it like this. You could have walked anywhere in the world today. You could have walked anywhere. You could have been having to do something. You could have seen us and said, look, you know what? Let me cross over, because I'm not really into all of that. You could have put headphones in. And loads of people see us put their headphones in. Loads of people cross over, but the Most High, or God, made you walk past, made you question, made you stop and have a conversation. Why? Because I don't believe in chance. That's the difference. I believe everything that the Most High does for a purpose and a reason. Does for a purpose and a reason. Read that Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So it says you're a holy people, not that you're special, but he's saying you're set apart, you're different. We're different from all the other nations. More time, you find us in all the religions, because we've got a zeal for God. You find black people who are Muslim, loads of them. We grew up Muslim. You find us in Judaism. You find us in doing everything. You find us any religion, you'll find black people there, and they're going hard for it. Christianity, we're going hard for it because we are set apart. No matter what we're doing, no matter how far away from the Most High we've got a drive to like, okay, let me do what's right. And even you today, yeah, you didn't understand, but in your head you're just saying, I'm just trying to do what I think is right. But what you need to come into the understanding of, we're not out here trying to do what's right according to what we think. We're trying to go by what God says, what it says in the Bible, and that's what we need to learn. We need to learn that sometimes what we think as humans and what seems right to a man isn't right to the Most High. Because people think that God doesn't hate. Did you know that? You believe? I feel like you don't think God hates.
Okay,
I don't think he hates, but I think he punishes.
So are we made in his image?
Are we made?
Are we made in God's image? As man's made. Yeah. So if we're made in his image and we can hate,
anything we can do,
he can do. So you know we can do good and do evil. You know he can do good and do evil too. You know that's possible. That's what I'm saying. We're made in his image, so he can hate. But he tells us to hate with a reason. So he always hates with a reason. He doesn't hate without a cause. Right? That's what the scripture says. Don't hate without a cause. That's the thing. So if someone does something to you, that's bad, right? To the point where obviously that you have to like separate yourself from them. If you don't like that person, if you hate that person, that's not off. That's not wrong because they did you wrong. But if you haven't done anything wrong to them and they hate you without a cause, that's when it's wrong.
You know who Muhammad Ali is, right? Now Muhammad Ali in his later days, after I think he'd finished boxing or whatever, he was in an interview and they were asking him what he thinks about the Caucasians, and he said, I don't trust them. And they what, you don't trust all of them? He goes, no, it's not that I don't trust all of them. If there's a swarm of snakes coming at me, and there's a chance that only a couple of them are poisonous, am I going to let all of them in? Or let all of them pass? He said, no, I'm not going to risk it, I'm not going to let none of them. Do you understand the analogy, what he says? Because you can't take the risk. And even though you might think, yeah, there's good ones among them, yeah, there might be good ones among them. But the Bible says, don't set them beside you, yes, they take your spot. Because that's what they'll do. And although they come crouching and acting like, oh, I'm sorry, and we're nice now, you don't know what's going to take place. You don't know what their actual spirit is. So that's just the point for that. So carry on reading in Deuteronomy 7. But you're supposed to be holy. You're meant to be set apart. Right. You're not meant to be mixed, amalgamated with everyone.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Yeah.
The Lord thy God hath chosen you.
So we didn't choose God. We didn't say we want to be the chosen of God. We want to be the elect. We want to be Israelites. I wasn't in the womb and said, I get a decision. They went a roll and said, which nation am I? We got chosen. He picked us to be Israelites. He formed our spirits. He formed our bodies, and he put us in those bodies. And he said, they're the people that I'm going to use. Read.
To be a special people unto himself.
So we're special to him, to God. Read on.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people that are on the face of the earth. And like I said, it's not above as in we think we've got some superiority. It's in fact it's the opposite. Because our job is to teach. And we are servants. We are servants of the Most High. We're putting ourselves in harm's way. We're coming out. Don't you think I could be at home? I could be feet up. I could watch Fat Boy. I could get a drink. I could be partying. I could be doing anything. But I'm out here in the cold, standing outside in the cold, trying to wake my people up, putting myself in harm's way because people they'll try and be aggressive with us. People have called the police on us and tried to fight us. But the point is, we are being servants. We're putting aside our lives and what we want to do the work of the Most High. So that's why we're not superior in the way that white supremacy is white supremacy. Because we don't have anything. We can't be superior. We ain't got no army. We ain't got anything to be superior over them. We're just here speaking the word. Did you finish that out?
Yes, finish it.
So yeah, so that's important. You know you're Israelite now. You know we're going to be out here. I'll send you some videos or whatever, Manasseh. But I need you, especially because your name's Manasseh. I don't know where your parents thought to name you Manasseh. But because that's proper biblical, that's a tribe of Israel. And you can look at all the tribes of Israel where we come down to. You'll know and you'll see. And then what you'll start to see is that, like, we know, that's my father, and we are from the tribe of Benjamin. We're from Israel, we're Israelites, but we got scattered into Jamaica. They would be the tribe of Benjamin. You've got Israelites who are in America, who are from the tribes of Ephraim, are from Issachar. Because the Israelites aren't just so-called black people from Jamaica or Africa. There's Israelites all over now. They're all over. They're Hispanic, so-called Hispanic are Israelites. So-called Native Americans are Israelites. And we need to come back together so we can do what the Most High says. And that's how we're going to save the planet. Because as the world's going now, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Why do there's so many extinct animals? Do you not think that's a question that people should be asking? The animals ain't going to go extinct by themselves. Animals are going extinct because of the way the world's being, what they're doing, when they're farming certain animals. Yeah, but I'll give you a missed call anyway. You can save my number, Jordan and Shalawam.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Shalawam.